with us we have Holly Van Wheat. She's an H2F strength coach, and she's been in the industry for 5 years. So just to get a little bit into what you do, can you give us like a little cliff notes of what H2F strength coach is?
Yes, so H2F is the holistic health and fitness program set up for the Army. So basically it's just prioritizing high performance output for Army soldiers on an individual level. So keeping guys healthy, making sure they don't end up on profile, which is what happens when they get hurt and they can't work. So we're keeping them working, making sure they're passing their PFA standards, which is a physical fitness assessment, all kinds of stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I never heard of that before. How did you get into it?
So my mentor actually is an H2F strength coach with the Indiana National Guard. So she kind of was like my step into it.
Yeah.
I joined the Women's Committee Mentorship Program. What year was that? 2022 maybe. So that's when I got in with her. And she was the only the person in tactical side of the field.
That's
so
awesome.
She kind of got me my step in there, and then I chatted with her about all kinds of opportunities, and she helped me out with my interview as well. She was a great resource for me, to be honest.
So like lucky to get a good mentor.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely was lucky, and I have another good, we were in a 3-person group, and it worked out really well. But how I got into tactical outside of that is, I didn't want to do collegiate strength conditioning. I didn't really want to do private. My first goal was to try and work with firefighters. Okay. They're also in the tactical realm. Yeah. But basically my philosophy on it is that if we can get the individual in the best shape of their life, in the best mental state of their life, they will be in a better position to make split-second decisions, keeping themselves safe and the person on the other side of them safe as well. Yeah. So especially with the whole 2020, what happened.
Being physical, especially when you have a physical job,
it's
super important that you take care of yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's you can't fill other people's cup without filling your own.
Exactly.
All right, so in the strength and conditioning world, what's trending that you think is overemphasized and what isn't getting enough attention?
Okay. So what I think is
right into it, yeah.
overemphasized, I'm going to dip into youth strength conditioning. So when I did work in private, we'd have parents walk in the door with their 10-year-old and be like, I want him to do high intensity explosive lifting, this, that, and the third. And to me, your child is 10. Your child is 10. We should be focusing on making sure they know how to play sport.
Sure.
And make sure they're enjoying their time, having fun, because they're 10. Yeah. Also, they're in their kid body. They're not in their adult body. There's no reason to put them under heavy load or anything like that. So we should just be making sure that they move well and, properly. So good form, making sure we're not cutting off ranges of motion halfway. There's no reason that a kid shouldn't be able to flip inside out, basically. You know what I mean?
They're kids.
So, parents, chill on your small children, please. What's getting too much attention? The social media is really hard with fitness. There's a lot of misinformation on there and also disinformation. Just people saying whatever, or, they're taking information off of social media and trying to reapply it for their own content, which is okay if it's done well and you are in fact qualified. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can rehab your injury because I'm not a physical therapist. Right. You know what I mean? So sometimes people get on there and they're like, oh, do you have knee pain? You need to do these 3 exercises. And
because they saw a Pinterest post.
Yeah. And that's all good and well. It might be applicable, but it's not a guarantee that it's actually going to work for you. Sure, so just almost like prescription, I guess, over the internet is a little bit interesting right now. Oh, another thing under recovery. A lot of people like to say that, gains are made in the gym. They're actually made in recovery. You have people that are in the gym 7 days a week and they see 0 results, no body composition change, no improvement in strength or in endurance or anything like that. So underfueled, under-recovered, no results. If you let your body sleep, if you eat the food you're supposed to be eating, so getting enough protein, getting enough fiber in the day, right amount of carbs, all kinds of stuff like that, you're gonna get to your goals faster.
Yeah, it's everything behind the scenes, right?
Exactly.
And that's what's important. I have noticed that too. Yeah, because when I go to the gym and I'm like, if I don't rest, but then when I do rest, I'm like, wow, his ass looks bad.
Yeah, or even I'm gonna talk about my guys in the Air Force. They want to hit bench press 4 days a week. They want to be in the gym 7 days a week. And I'm like, hey, bud, you're actually breaking yourself down further. You're not helping yourself. Yeah, you're being your own worst enemy at this time. So get your sleep. I've had people look at me and go, sleep is for the weak. Yeah, you might be right, but it's actually also for the strong. So, just try and give people the info and let them work through it themselves. I try to press on to everybody, tap into your body and know what it feels like. Yeah. You will know if you're under recovered, underfueled, all that.
Yeah. No, I like that. Okay. It's very important. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So studies show that female athletes are significantly less likely or more likely to tear their ACL. Right. So typically around 2 to 8 times higher ACL injuries than their male counterparts in athletics and comparable sports. So what do you think is happening there biochemically, it's like internally,
Mm-hmm.
and how does early strength training change that trajectory?
Yeah, so if we're talking biomechanically, when female athletes hit puberty, there's a widening of the hips that we experience because our bodies are meant to carry children, right? So with that widening of the hips comes an increased Q angle. So basically, like if you trace down from the iliac crest all the way to the, I'm forgetting the word for it, but basically, yeah, but like the process from the femur that attaches here, that doesn't really matter. So for males, an average is between 8 to like 13 degrees.
Okay.
So like, you know, if we're talking pre-puberty bodies for women, then we're in that range as well. But after the widening of the hips occurs, you're looking more into like the 11 to 14, maybe even 15 range.
Okay.
So that changes how like load travels through the knee mechanically and the joint, right?
You don't think about this stuff.
No, of course not. I mean, and I didn't know until I was taught, you know, in my undergraduate program. Have you heard of like the knocked knees? Like people who like their knees are touching basically because their hips are so wide. So that can be indicative of a weak glute med, which is just an external rotator of the hip.
Okay.
So
I thought they were trying to be cute. I didn't know that was like a...
Maybe. I actually had a strength coach one time present to me that he thinks it's because women are told to sit with their legs closed. So we're constantly like pushing ourselves together anyway, which never occurred to me. So I thought that was interesting. But basically we are going to focus on quad strength, focus on good form, because if you don't have good form while you're training, it's not going to translate to your field sport or whatever it is, right? Making sure we're strong in every area. So like those little hip external rotator muscles, we still want to train them. We can't just hit squats and deadlifts and be like, oh, it's all good. You know what I mean? You got to work in multiplanar. Did I answer your question fully?
So yes. That answers yes, you did. So how can early strength training change that trajectory for ACL tears in females?
So if we start with 11-year-old girls and we're teaching them proper form early on, then that glute med isn't neglected and weak, and it actually like helps push your knees out, right? So you know, if you're hitting a squat and your knees are coming in, that's what we want to avoid, kind of thing,
so
right?
It strengthens the muscles that are supporting.
Correct. Yeah.
The, like posture.
Yeah, and then when you're moving at high velocities, so let's say you're playing soccer. I think soccer is the sport with the highest number of ACLs, maybe basketball actually.
Probably tennis too.
True, yeah. You know, when you're moving at high velocities, that's the highest amount of force, right? So when that force is traveling through the knee, if you have trained the motor pattern in your brain to properly absorb force and keep yourself in those correct like positionings, you are less likely to hurt yourself on the field. Any kind of, the reason I say basketball is because it has to do with like jumping and landing mechanics as well. So like, you know, basketball players are constantly going up and then coming back down. So they have to be able to like absorb all that force of their body weight, plus however high they jumped, it contributes to the amount of force in newtons coming down onto your body. Yeah. So early intervention for girls, like, you know, that is the best plan in my opinion. Yeah.
Pivotal. Just bouncing off that topic. If you were building an 11 to 14-year-old female athlete, what are some things that you would prioritize?
So 11 to 14, you know, that is a girl that has hit puberty, right? But kind of in the mix there, it's going to be anywhere in those years. So definitely identifying whether or not they've hit their adult body, right? Okay. But besides from that, let's say we get them at 11 before they get their adult body. Okay. Good form. Yeah. 100%. And then, you know, I wasn't taught how to land and jump when I was in sports as a kid, but that's something I do as a coach now. We do landing mechanics, we do jumping mechanics, falling off the box, catching yourself, how to appropriately load the lower body so that you're not just like shocking your entire system and not absorbing any of that load. So yeah, just getting them in the gym and getting them familiar with all the different mechanics that will help keep them safe when they're playing sports or lifting.
Yeah, building those supporting muscles like we mentioned.
Yeah, supporting muscles, and then I'm a big believer of motor patterns in the brain. It's up here.
Muscle memory?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
But yeah, you create, you know, like babies when they're learning. When they're learning how to crawl. They're creating a new motor pattern in their brain. So even if you're an adult and you go to do something completely different you've never done before, you're creating a new motor pathway in your brain.
It's like, what is that, habit training or habit building?
Yeah, similar, yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
So I have a little activity for us.
Awesome.
A little hydration break. You sure you
want
want banana?
I'm drinking coffee. I'm fine, thank you. I appreciate it. Banana, best pre-workout snack.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even know.
In my opinion. Sorry, let me throw that out there.
In my professional opinion.
Yeah.
Let's give you credit.
Appreciate that.
Let's put the credentials in there.
All right. I wore my fancy, my shirt so people know.
Oh, you're repping.
Yeah.
You gotta show it, be like.
So people know that I am in fact a member of the NSCA. Trying to keep my stuttering to a minimum. I've only had one bad one so far, so that's pretty good.
We'll cut that out. This is called train it or trash it. Okay. So train it, trash it.
Got it.
And then I have 10 sort of like myth busting things, right?
Got it. All right.
You're gonna be the myth buster in here.
Excellent.
Okay. Strength training is safer than year-round travel sports participation. Train or trash it.
That's a loaded question. I'm gonna say train it because this is a good example of going back to earlier. We're overworking our kids. Your kid, yeah, it's good that your kid is in year-round sports, but if they're not also training, then you're setting them up for overuse injuries and also to be weak in certain areas, right? Especially if they're growing into their adult bodies. So it would be better to simply strength train than to do year-round sports. But I would say if you're gonna do year-round sports, you need to be training in your off season.
Okay.
So train it.
Train it. All right, strength coaches are undervalued compared to sport-specific skill coaches.
I don't even need to hear the end of that. Yes, 100%. I mean, shoot, you know, I didn't know what a strength coach was until I got to college, right?
Me neither. I mean, I didn't know until I met you.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, people still don't even know what the NSCA is. So yeah, we are an underutilized resource for sure. And I think it's because people don't really know what we do. I've had people look at me and go, oh, so you're a PE teacher, right? No, I'm not a PE teacher.
Like disrespect.
Yeah, or people look at me and they're like, "You're a personal trainer, right?" And I'm like, "No, I don't hold a CPT actually. Yeah, I have a CSCS. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist."
Very like niche.
Yes, 100%. And what is it? What does that mean? It means that I'm qualified to work at the collegiate and professional level, right?
Okay.
They're not taking anyone with a CPT. They're not taking you if you don't have a CSCS. You know what I mean? You don't even bother applying.
Put some respect.
Kind of thing. Yeah. So it is. You know, to sit for the CSCS, you have to hold a bachelor's degree in exercise science, kinesiology, biology, something of that form.
That's like a career.
Yeah, 100%.
See, like, and I feel like people don't realize that because you're a personal trainer. Like, you just have to take a certificate.
Yeah, and you can get it from anywhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere.
I mean,
super accredited.
Like, Instagram gurus or like influencers are personal trainers.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest. But
and like not to knock them because some people do really well on like their stuff, but a lot of people also have only a surface level knowledge, and because they have like the content creation aspect, they get a lot of clients or something like that. You know?
Yeah. Charisma.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. All right. Early sport specialization creates better long-term athletes.
And I'll say why. Because if you, let's say you're 12 years old and you only play one sport, like for me, I was playing softball, right? I didn't even get into travel until 8th grade, so that's 13, 14 years old. So we're talking, I mean, I was just telling you about 10-year-olds playing travel football and their parents being, you know, really on them to do well or whatever. But early specialization is a great way to burn your kid out, especially if you're trying to live vicariously through them. By the time they hit 15, they don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Not only that, but we're prepping them for overuse injuries because we're never getting them outside of that pattern. So like, I think, yes, early specialization, pick the sport you like, play other sports as well.
Yeah.
Get outside of that movement. So like, yeah, I played softball. Softball was my travel sport, but I was on the track team. I was playing field hockey, you know?
Yeah, you mix it up. You
exactly.
It up a little bit.
Yeah, and then I didn't even play softball in college. I did track and field hockey in college. So really getting my body outside of like the normal way of moving, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I like it. I think especially when parents like force their kids to do something that they like, a sport that even that they like to do. If you force them to do it too often, like it can push them to not like that sport 100%. Anymore. So it can ruin the experience for them.
Absolutely.
I definitely get that. All right. Social media fitness trends are negatively influencing how young kids train.
I kind of agree. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of kids in the like mid-puberty, and also I don't do my youth performance stuff anymore, so I'm not like with my kids anymore. I did just watch one of my athletes play a softball game recently, so that was great. Yeah, I know.
So fast.
Literally, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, because they see a 24-year-old man doing Olympic lifts and doing them well. That's a highly technical lift. You don't see all the training that goes into that, how they have to teach them the form, all that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, you get a kid that goes to your local Gold's Gym, loads a bunch of weight on the bar and is doing the form not well, you know? Yeah. And they think it's going to benefit them because, you know, they're seeing someone online benefiting from it, which is okay if you get someone to teach you how to do it well.
Yeah,
you know
if you have proper form, like you have to have that person to guide you, like the professional.
Yeah, and you also need to like know what the exercise is for. Like an Olympic lift is in my opinion not meant to build strength. It's meant to build power. That's what it's for. Muscle. It's a power exercise. Yeah, or to move weight fast is how we define power, right?
Like if you need to move a car.
Yeah, or like that's something you'll do. So if we're gonna take it back to like an elite athlete level, like at the collegiate level, you're doing power cleans and stuff in season because we want the body moving heavyweight fast. But we're not doing a lot of it. We're not fatiguing ourselves. It's not meant to build muscle or muscle size or anything like that. It is strictly to train the energy system to move this stuff fast kind of thing. Yeah. So it's almost, sometimes it can be used as a maintenance thing. You know, you can use it any way you want. But if you're not using it the way that you need, it's pretty useless for you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's like positive and negative sides of that.
Absolutely. See that I want to hold up both every time.
Okay. Okay. Strength training will make young girls bulky and slow. Hold it up for the people in the back.
Women's bodies are not the same. You will never be bulky. Also, and if you're going to bring up you as in whoever is about to prove me wrong on this, try and prove me wrong. Let's talk about women bodybuilders. That is their literal career, these women. And they are the diet plan so that they can put this size on. Yeah, is crazy. They do so much work in order to be as big as they are. You know what I mean? And they're still not, as if you look at bodybuilding men, I mean, they're even bigger. Yeah. No. The only thing that's going to make you slow is if you don't train fast. Right? So if you get in there and you're doing 3 sets of 8 and you're moving it slow, it's a slow grinding rep. Yeah, you're not getting faster. But if you drop that weight down and move your body fast, you will be fast.
Period.
If you want to run fast, you need to run fast. Running on the treadmill is not going to make you fast. But if you get out and run some sprints,
it's like Bruce Lee. You just gotta
100%. Wax on, wax off. Exactly. Yeah. Whatever you want to do, you do it well, and it will work for you, kind of thing.
Yeah. I like that. All right. Kids should avoid heavy lifting because it stunts growth.
It doesn't stunt growth, but I say avoid heavy lifting if you can't do it well. So if you look like trash under the bar, take the weight off the bar. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Take it down.
Yeah. So it's a great idea, or this is a great example of like social media. I saw a skinny little 13-year-old boy under 3 plates, and I mean, his back is completely rounded.
That's so bad for you.
Exactly. Knees are knocking as we go in. And then not only that, but he never hits even close to parallel. And like there's arguments of whether or not you even need to squat to parallel. But if you're, you want to do a large range of motion, there's no point in doing a half squat. So if you put
the full power.
Yeah, you put 3 plates on the bar and you do a half squat, what's the point when you could have 1 plate on the bar and squat ass to grass? Yeah, I'm always in support of a full range of motion. The more the range of motion, the better.
I know some of it is mental, not to get into it, but so my husband, for the viewers, he is a prime example of this, because when I first started getting into the gym consistently, which was maybe like a year and a half ago, I think it was very mental for me. Like I was like, okay, like a 45 looks like a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm gonna start at 25 and see how I feel like squatting. Mm-hmm. And then I squatted with a 25 and I was like, cool, like I can do this. And he's like, great form, great shape, stick to it. And then without me knowing, he added 10s to both sides, right? And he's like, just do the same thing, right?
For reference, that's 115 pounds total. Go ahead.
And then I was like, no, this is on the guided.
Oh, Smith machine?
So
okay, never mind, disregard.
Minus 45. So then I started squatting, and this man goes, at the same time he put the 10s on, he just decided to take a potty break.
Oh, so he disappeared on you?
Disappeared. I didn't know where I was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this form again. I'm feeling like, I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling done. So I'm doing this form, I go down, and when I tell you, I could not get back up. Okay, so I'm over here panicking underneath the bar. I'm looking around.
You roll the bar back?
Luckily, no.
He didn't teach you how to use this.
Luckily, there's this dude's working out next to me with little dumbbells. And I'm looking at him, I'm like,
you're like, hey, big dumb.
And he literally drops his weight, runs to me, and and this is so embarrassing for me because I'm
it happens.
35.
It's okay.
But anyway, he will not, I will not let him live that down.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's funny.
I love that story. All right. Teaching proper landing mechanics early on can significantly reduce future knee injuries.
Yes. Teach the kids how to load their bodies appropriately and they will be all right.
Yes.
The kids will be all right.
Proper form.
Yes, always.
All right. Starting strength training in middle school gives girls a long-term advantage. Yes?
Yes. Why wouldn't we have girls do the same things that boys do?
So is that also, do you have to maintenance it? Do you have to maintain it? Not maintenance it. Maintain it?
So, yeah, once you start, don't stop kind of thing. But middle schools are great, if that's when these girls are hitting their adult bodies, right? So we definitely want to be training landing mechanics and all that goes into lifting, right? It doesn't have to be picking up a heavy weight for it to be exercise science. You know what I mean?
So I don't know if you know, I have scoliosis.
I didn't know that.
Well, most girls get diagnosed around puberty time, and so that's when I got diagnosed, right before puberty. So I had to wear a back brace for a couple years, and then after I was done with my back brace, I had zero muscle because it was right during puberty time when your core develops, your core muscles. So once I got my brace off, literally I couldn't do a single pull-up. I couldn't do a single push-up.
I mean, not many middle school girls are doing pull-ups. So.
Well, this is in high school. I got my brace off in high school. I started I think 7th grade, 6th grade, and then I got it off in 10th grade. And so my doctor said, you have to do, for your entire life, the rest of your life, you have to do Pilates and yoga because that keeps your back strong and flexible. And I mean, it's been helping.
No, I'm not gonna knock it. Pilates is having a revival right now. So my only thing, yes, Pilates is great. I think it's great training for muscular endurance, because if you've never done Pilates and you do a 30-minute class, you're going to be burning at the end.
Hard.
Dude,
it's hard.
Nothing's funnier than a guy that takes a Pilates class for the first time and they're like, what the hell is this?
Have you
know
seen
what I mean?
the videos of like the professional athletes? These are like pro
Yeah,
athletes,
like the NFL guys,
yeah,
and they can barely do it because it's a different energy system.
It is.
Yes, they have muscular endurance or work capacity, right? But these guys are training for power and max strength, right? So they're not often doing a 30-second hold of, some interior muscle. So like, yeah, I think Pilates is great. You don't have to do Pilates in order to have a strong back, right? You can do other stuff. Yoga is also great, right? Especially, I think there's a nice mental side to yoga with like mindfulness and stuff like that, which really goes hand in hand with like performance and stuff.
Yeah.
But you could do a stretch and a core routine on your floor at home. You don't need to pay for yoga and pay for Pilates. Like you don't need to be emptying out your bank account to do these things, right? You can effectively do them in other ways.
You can find anything, like be resourceful.
Yeah.
Do what you can, start with what you have. Yeah. Okay. If a young athlete isn't sweating and exhausted, the workout wasn't effective.
Trash. The workout isn't always meant to make you sweaty and exhausted, right? Like if like, let's consider, let's say it's me during field hockey season, right? The goal in the weight room is not to beat me into the ground, right? It is to keep me fresh, maybe practice a little bit of like power stuff in order to, there's something called post-activation potentiation. So like there's a lot of good research that you can train the day of a game and keep it, light, low intensity, fast velocity, not very long duration, right? And then it will help you perform better in the game.
It's kind of just getting like your blood flowing, or
yeah, similar, or like we're exercising the ATP PCR system, right, and preparing it to do more, and so we're almost like priming it to
warming
produce more force later, right? So without like diving into a bunch of anatomy and physiology, that's like the most surface level example I could give you.
Talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
That's fine. No. So if it's game day, I'm not trying to be sweaty and exhausted. I'm trying to get loose, get ready, and then
warm
be
up the
prepared.
muscles.
Yeah, exactly. So, if that is what makes you feel like you got a good workout, like let's talk about people who aren't athletes, just your everyday average Joe. If that's what makes you feel like you got a good workout, great, you can do that. But not necessarily, it's not to say that you didn't get a good workout just because you're not sweating or exhausted. Like the place I was working at in DC, a condemned building. So over winter, it's 30 degrees in there. Half of these guys are keeping their jackets on for the workout. Yeah, so they don't, they might not be sweating. It doesn't mean that they're not trying hard. They're lifting 300-400 pounds, so they're still working hard kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you don't really sweat.
Like, it reminds me of like going to the gym on the days that you don't want to go to the gym, and you just have like, even if you do like 2 workouts, that's not your best day, but like you still want it.
Day, it's fine.
Yeah, you still want it. Give yourself credit. Okay, if a strength coach can't explain the why behind their programming, they shouldn't be coaching young athletes.
I agree with that. That could go for any athlete, not just a youth athlete. One of the things I learned in undergrad was how to defend your program. So why you're putting in what you are putting in, make it make sense to yourself and the athlete, right? And also the coach. Like a lot of times at the collegiate level, you have to sell your program to the coach because the sport coach is going to come in and be like, oh, I want my athletes to do this. And it could be something off the internet, honestly, sometimes. But it's not necessarily, and you might have to work it in for the coach's sake. But then you also need to explain to them like why you have this other stuff. And then also athletes, there are a lot of curious athletes. There will be like, oh, why are we doing this? I did have some people in the Air Force be like, oh, what is this for? You give them a little off the dome as not surface level, but like the minimal effective amount of information that they need to understand why they're doing something.
Yeah,
basically.
I feel like, and I think that is a testament to someone's true intelligence, is if you can not necessarily dumb it down, but like dumb it down for me to the point that if I'm asking you a question, like I don't want to know the whole history behind, you know what I'm saying? Just tell me the relevant stuff.
Yeah, it's a quote from someone, but they're like, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't really know the information.
Thank you. Facts. I'm the 5-year-old. Okay, so mental habits that create high performance.
So I think a positive self-talk is a big one. Using mindfulness, using visualization, right? So if you look at Olympians, they're talking to themselves before they hit their event, right?
Yes.
I like to talk about track and field athletes, right?
Yeah.
If you ever watch them line up on the blocks, half of them they're all saying prayers, and then they're also talking to themselves. If you can see it, they're saying, "This is it. This is what you train for." And especially, and if we're talking about like the Olympics, these people are training for 4 years for one moment. So
long time.
You need to have your mental needs to be locked in, right?
Yeah. Focus.
That good self-talk. Visualizing yourself, completing your goal, whatever it is, all those go hand in hand. Yeah, it all is up here, right? The mental is the biggest aspect. People don't like to think that because we don't put a lot of emphasis on mental health in our society, which is unfortunate.
I feel like that's like big for like athletes though, is their mental health. You know what I'm saying? But I think also like staying active helps with that.
Yep, endorphins,
like hand in hand.
good for your body, 100%.
I love that. So just like mindfulness, like positive self-talk. I love that.
If you literally just pull up clips of elite athletes and like if they're mic'd up, or if you can see like if somebody can read their lips kind of thing, just see what they're saying to themselves, because it's, you know, they are their biggest hype man.
Yeah, I love that. You have to be. You have to be, especially when you make it big like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what separates the average versus elite young athletes?
In my opinion, in my experience also, I do not want to have to convince you to try hard. I shouldn't have to convince you to try hard.
The motivation should be there.
Yeah, especially if you enjoy your sport.
Yeah.
Or if you think you're good at it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to convince you to try hard at practice.
I love that response, because like that's so real.
Also, when I was an athlete, you didn't have to convince me to try hard.
Yeah.
I actually don't like it when people say over 100% of something, like they give 110%, but like I was going hard at practice. Yeah. And in the game, no matter what, you know what I mean?
Full attention.
Yeah, so then to see like if I had teammates who like didn't give that and then they're still getting playing time, or they're like a coach's favorite, I'm confused in my brain, because I'm like, they don't even care to really try hard, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's upsetting
like,
as well.
Yeah, I think it's just like,
yeah,
I think it goes with like who's charismatic, because sometimes people that are more charismatic get more attention from like whoever it is that they're trying to get, you know,
or even just like the relationship you build with athletes. Sometimes if you're new, like you gotta build a little bit of rapport
like
before you're actually gonna get them. Yeah, or like I was new to the job in DC, right? I walk in, nobody knows who I am, and then I'm giving you a workout and I'm like, do it this way. You know, and they're like, hold on, who are you? Yes, exactly. So, you know, you gotta build your relationships, you gotta do the knowledge, so they know that you can in fact be trusted, and you do have their best interest in your heart, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
like build rapport.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust. So after they see that, like, you know, they ask me a couple questions and I can answer off the dome without having to like go look anything up, they're like, okay, all right. So
like, I should
you do have some info in your brain, and then when it works, you know, that's all just goes back into building buy-in, kind of. Yeah. So, you know, as a young athlete, if you're dragging your heels at practice and I have to yell at you to get you to try hard, which isn't even my preference, I don't prefer to yell, I don't really want to coach you. Yeah, and like I'm not gonna like completely ignore you, because that's crazy, right? But I'm not gonna invest a lot of my time into you if you don't even care to be here. Yeah. And there are a lot of young kids that think they're the shit. And it's like, okay, then why don't you try hard at practice? Like, I'm sorry, do you think LeBron James doesn't try hard at practice? Do you think Steph Curry is not doing form shooting?
Yeah.
Like, you know, nobody wants to do form shooting in basketball because it's boring. You stand there, you do your little thing. He does that every day. We're talking about the greatest shooter.
It's like muscle memory.
Yeah,
you know, you
exactly.
Have to build it. You have to build it.
Motor programs. Back to what we were saying earlier. But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You don't even think about that, because it's like a thing that it's underrated. It really is. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so if you could sit down with your preteen self, what would you tell her about strength, confidence, and longevity?
I would tell her to get in the gym earlier, because I did not start lifting weights until my senior year of high school. Yeah. And I had no plan, no goals, no knowledge either. So I was doing whatever.
What plans can you really have at that age? You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, here's a great example. I thought you had to do 3 sets of 10, because that's what everybody else was doing. Like, don't you, 3 sets of 10 reps.
Don't you do 3 sets?
I mean, sure, you can if that's your goal, right? Like, if you're doing 3 sets, 10 reps is a hypertrophy range, so it's meant to build size, not muscle, right? I thought I was getting stronger by doing 3 sets of 10, so you can see how I'm completely off base. Yeah. Now that I'm here and have this knowledge about this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, like, I was going to the gym with like other friends or like guys that I knew, and they're like, here, you do this, and I'm doing whatever they're doing, but you know, it wasn't effective for my sport, which is okay, you know? Yeah, I would have loved to have been in the gym earlier and have someone who like really knew what was going on. I think that would have been great. I think my high school self was more confident in my athletic abilities than my college self, so I would love to tell her to keep a handle on that confidence, because kind of like slipped away from me a little bit. Yeah, and like that leads into a negative self-talk and self-doubt, which goes into negatively hampering your performance kind of thing, because you're not having that hype man mentality. Yeah.
You can be your own worst enemy.
100%. Yeah, we usually are. Yeah. And then longevity. I'm actually blessed to have never had like a really serious injury. I've had like little stuff, right? But I've never like torn anything or needed surgery to replace or repair anything like that. So, you know, getting in the gym earlier would have only made me a more stronger, more resilient athlete. And then I also feel like, you know, because I got in the gym in high school, my last year of high school, when I got to the weight room in college, I had to spend a lot of time learning these movements, these technically difficult movements, and I didn't really get to spend a lot of time building strength and power because I was learning the technical aspect.
Sure.
So not that I wasted my first 2 years, but I didn't come in hitting the ground running the way girls are now. I was training this girl, I mean, she plays D1 softball now, but she went in, was one of the strongest freshmen because she had 3-4 years of training experience under her belt already. Wow. I was coaching 14-year-old girls softball. This girl had never deadlifted before. We put her in the trap bar. She dusted my 1 rep max.
Wow.
And it's on her first try, right? These kids don't know how strong they are. And like you see something like that, a 14-year-old girl is dusting me at 28. Like, imagine what could happen. You know, I think about that for myself. I try not to be regretful about it because I really did have a good athletic career, but like I wonder what kind of athlete I could have been if I had started way earlier.
No, but don't fall into the rabbit hole of what ifs, because it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah,
and like you gotta give yourself credit, you know, give yourself the grace. I think for being our age, like the fact that we're even active, you know what I'm saying? Like, not that I'm not an athlete, I never was.
Our society is not like built for it either. Like we sit in our cars, we sit on our computers, we sit at desks.
But the fact that you have an active lifestyle, like that's props to you.
Yeah, I love it. I love walking around the gym.
All right, so wrapping everything up, if there's one key takeaway that you want people to have, what would that be?
Challenge yourself. You have no idea what you're capable of. Like, that's actually what I tell my younger female athletes. I'm like, you have no idea what you're capable of. I'll say that to my men too as well, because you know, sometimes if they're trying for a max lift, they might give up a little earlier than I would have liked them to. Yeah. And, you know, just because you don't get it in the first 3 seconds doesn't mean it's not going up. You might just have to apply a little bit longer, right? So always, always, always challenge yourself. Lift the heavier weight, the thing you think you can't do, with good form, caveat.
Yeah.
So
little asterisk.
Yeah, my asterisk would be like, you know, if you feel your form breaking down while you're doing the lift, cut it.
Bring it down.
You know what I mean? Like drop the weight, whatever it is. Put it, rack it, put it back, kind of thing. And go down to something that's a good, appropriate challenge. But always push yourself. You're always stronger than you think you are. You can do things that you think you can't do. Like,
yes. Yeah, it's like Bobby always says, you can do, your brain stops at 40%. Mm-hmm. So when your brain starts like giving you the signals of like, this is it, I can only do this, you can actually do
got more than half left.
Exactly. And so I was gonna push myself. So thank you so much for being on here. And
thanks for having me.
This is a very insightful, and you know, it taught me something about strength training that I did now. So I hope other people.
If you ever have questions, you know, you can text me.
Thank you. I have a mentor now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Holly. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Do a pro hand.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. I am so grateful you spent part of your day here with us. And if something from this conversation stuck, well, honey, that's exactly why this episode exists. Now, if you'd like to learn more about today's guests, you can find their information and links down in the show notes. Thank you for listening and for being part of this from the very beginning. I'm so excited for the conversations ahead, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a blessed day.